Video Camera Surveillance Temporary Measures Bill, second reading.
This bill is set down for committee stage forthwith. So I declare the House in committee for consideration of the Video Camera Surveillance Temporary Measures Bill.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chairman.
Hang on, when I announce the... He's going to move that it be taken as one question if he does it before. Yes. Okay. Order the House and Committee.
Mr.
The Honourable Christopher Finlinson.
Mr. Chairman, I seek leave for all the provisions of the Video Camera Surveillance Temporary Measures Bill to be taken as one question.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? There is no objection. Members, the House and Committee on the Video Camera Surveillance Temporary Measures Bill. The question is that parts 1 and 2 and clauses 1 and 2 stand part.
Mr. Chairman.
The Honourable Christopher Finlinson.
Mr. Chairman, I listened very carefully to what Mr. Locke said, and there are just two matters I want to bring to his attention which may allay some of his fears. The first relates to Clause 3D. Although strictly speaking from a legal point of view it is not needed, it has been inserted to emphasise to those reading and dealing with this legislation that Section 21 is unaffected, and that is very, very important. The second point relates to what he said about the breadth of Clause 5, and I simply emphasise certain words in Clause 5.2, and that is, and it's important to read them, the use of this type of surveillance does not of itself render the search unlawful. Of course, I acknowledge that when the preliminary consultation exposure draft went out for consultation, there were the words or unreasonable in there. Those were deleted at the time the bill was introduced. But it's important to emphasise those words does not of itself, because it could be unlawful on other grounds. It could also be unreasonable depending on the circumstances. So to take a particular hypothetical, there might be a prosecution body that commences this type of surveillance for an offence which clearly does not warrant that degree of intrusive surveillance, and it could be challenged on Section 30 grounds under the Evidence Act at some stage as being unreasonable. And so it's very important to, and I hope this helps the member, that unreasonableness limb is there, and that in appropriate circumstances, even if it is not of itself unlawful, it may still be unreasonable.
Keith Locke.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I thank the